Hello, everyone, and welcome to Human. Tonight, we will be interviewing the owner of Whittle Works, a woman who is well versed in many crafts and has recently opened up a business that specializes in making toys for kids and other crafts out of wood. Tonight, we will be bringing her on. We are waiting for her to arrive right now. Um, this is going to be an amazing interview. Let me bring her on as of right now.
Flipping this around here.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time. Yeah, I almost was about to put my. No, you gotta rotate it again. You look sideways.
Let's see. Let's take this off. I had my charger going just in case.
Oh, got you. I got you.
There we go.
How are you doing tonight?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. I'm just waiting
Good,
for the
good.
picture to
I
be a
am
little bit
a
more
little
clear.
nervous. I've never done a live interview before.
I'm a little nervous
Can
myself,
you hear
trust
me
and
okay?
believe. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine. I'm just waiting for the picture just to clear up just a little bit, and then we'll kick into the interview. Yeah, that's good. That's good. It seems like it's actually clearing up. Great, great, great. So I
Here.
just wanted to start off by introducing yourself to the audience for those who don't know you.
My name is Brittany Cayton. Um, I live in Arizona. I like to call it the Sunshine State, but it's not. I know Florida's got that one tag, but man, do we get a lot of sun down here.
Yes, indeed, y'all do. Don't y'all have desert weather out there in Phoenix? You're in Phoenix, Arizona, am I correct?
Yep,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
just outside of
indeed.
Phoenix. It is. It's regularly 120 during the summer. It's a dry summer, winter, all of the above. There's no humidity. It is 100%
Wow.
desert. But if you go two
Wow.
hours north, it's all forest. No one thinks we have greenery here, but Flagstaff is 100% forest.
Do you ever see snow up there where the forest
Oh
is
yeah,
at?
and we
Oh,
do, yeah. Yeah, you drive
wow.
2 hours north and you go snowboard or ski up in Snowball, up in Flagstaff or Sunrise. And yeah, believe it or not, we get other seasons. They're just mostly hot. And then we get the short windows to
Of
to kind of
cold,
go.
little spouts of cold.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the same way for Florida.
is it?
Go ahead, continue. Yeah, it is. It is. Out here, we are going through a short cold spell right now in Florida.
Oh,
Short cold spell, but
so
continue.
what's the cold spell in Florida?
It can get as low as 30. That's how low we
Hmm,
get. Yeah, as low as 30.
okay,
As of
okay.
recent, we've got us as that low. I like the way she almost put that in quotation marks. That was funny. That was good. Um, moving forward, where were you born and raised?
So, believe it or not, I'm a dying
Mm,
breed. I was born in Arizona and raised here. I've
okay.
visited a lot of other places, but never moved anywhere else. So I'm
Okay.
a native.
What are some of the places that you've visited?
Oh gosh. I think last time we checked, I'm down to only five more states to go as far as in the US. And then Mexico and Canada and just all over the place there. But I want to get on over
Wow.
to visit some family in Russia at some point, part of my heritage. But beyond that, just a lot of international visiting.
See, you didn't include that in the bio. That you were Russian. Wow, that's
I don't think
cool.
there was any more room.
Oh, there's always more room for things in the bio, by the way. Um, on to another question. How would you describe your upbringing?
My upbringing,
Hmm.
that depended on which house I was at that weekend.
Ooh.
My my parents weren't together by the time I was 3. So one home was, my dad's house. We would go camp and shoot, and he was always making things. He's actually a custom home builder, so he was the one that kind of got me very hands-on in woodworking. And one of my first jobs to try to make money was helping him install windows in some of the houses he would do, and just kind of all the tar and getting nitty gritty, and that it's okay to do so. And then
Ooh.
my mom's side was much more the feminine side, and kind of, how to maintain an appearance, or, makeup and dresses and that kind of thing. So that was, a lot more of the self-expression rather than the physical doing. So
Mm.
it was a lot of opposites. It was fun though. I
Wow.
try to get a good, well-rounded thing going for my kids, but it's a lot to try to do.
It is 100%. I wanted to piggyback off what you were saying about being raised in two households. What was it like growing up in two different households? How did that affect your upbringing?
It was, co-parenting, I think, has got to be one of the hardest things that someone can do, to share your child with another person and to know and feel like they are okay. And
Ooh.
I know that my parents had their pieces that they needed to figure out in trusting each other, but they both did their best with me. So
Mm.
while there's stresses and sometimes venting and that kind of thing, I really lucked out as far as who the individual parents were. So I never
Wow.
felt a lack of love from specifically them. But
Wow.
that's lucky.
Yes, it is. That was beautifully put, by the way. I love the answer.
Next
No,
flashcard, please.
yeah, I knew this was going to be a great interview. Continuing, what was one pro and con of growing up in both households separately?
Um, Pro was definitely all the different experiences, being
Mhm.
the girly girl that could then, shoot and do archery and horseback ride and all that kind of thing. So it surprised a lot of people, but I'm happy about that. A con was certainly um, not feeling like there was a full intact includence on either side. Sometimes I
Mm.
felt like I didn't know what one part of the family was doing at any given time, because I would be doing certain things with this one, or this was very active, and or we were going here, or this was happening, and then I didn't know, what was going on the other side. So it was a lot of trying to feel like I fit into a place, um, while being in two different lifestyles.
Mm. Would you consider yourself a misfit within the bind of being in between two households?
Yeah, which initially was I thought a negative, but
Mm.
I've embraced it in probably the last 7 years, that I'm just a weirdo and I'm okay with it.
I think you're a very
Like,
talented person.
thank you, thank
Um,
you. Yeah.
you're welcome. We're gonna get into your the many talents that you do have in a little while, excuse me. But I first want to ask, I did read in your biography that you said one of the households was both warm and chaotic. So I wanted to ask you, how can a household be both warm and chaotic? What does that look
So the
like?
warmth came from feeling like I could act like myself and be weird and be loved for doing so, and not feeling like I had to hide myself at any given moment. The
Mm.
chaotic part was my mother is all over the place. You know, you go in and you'll see, there's papers and old she collects antiques, so there's stuff everywhere. There's, she would have to organize bills, but she couldn't find some of them, but she'd have one from 15 years prior, and it would be just all over the place as far as, aesthetically a mess, but
Mhm.
warm in, hey, it's a big mess, but get in here and give me a hug kind of thing. So warm and chaotic.
I like that example. I love that example. Very good. Very good. Um, how was your creativity nurtured when you were younger? How did you start on that venture?
So it absolutely was nurtured on my father's side, which is funny because, like I said, that was the side that was more, there was more discipline, there was more order on that side. There was, um, he was always artistic though. So in his work and in him building, he would always encourage me to be doing things either with him or on the side. He didn't want you to just watch TV. He didn't want you, inside if it was nice out. It would be, here's some paint. I've got some old metal chairs in the back. You can go paint those. I'm going to be outside in the barn, welding this sculpture or doing this and stuff because he always had his little side hobbies that he would do too. So it was a lot of, you weren't able to just be stagnant. You were always doing something. So he
Mm.
definitely nurtured the creativity side. And he was always really good at just showing when you asked. He may not be the one to just come over and initiate, hey, let's draw or da da. But if you walked up and you asked him, Daddy, I can't draw hands, as everybody knows. When you first start drawing hands, they're kind of, you know, and he's like,
Same thing with faces.
right? Picasso, well, okay. Everyone's got their own style.
Picasso. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
But he always would stop and make time to help when you asked.
Mhm.
So when I was having a hard time or wanted to create something, he'd go, no, 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 try this.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, that's where the creativity stemmed from.
Out of curiosity, what was your favorite activity growing up? I see you participated in archery, shooting, horseback riding, swim team. The list kind of goes on here. So diving, ballet, soccer,
It
welding,
was,
and you also sang. So that's a pretty
it was
long list there. So I just wanted to know what was your favorite activity out of all the activities that I've just listed there.
that's a hard one because I mean, there was a long list. And there was a long list because my parents wanted me to try everything to find
Mhm.
out what I actually enjoyed. And even when I did something and I loved it at that point, they're like, all right, that's great. Let's finish the season. We're going to try this next season and see what you really like, what really just resonates with you. So
Hmm.
after trying everything and what I stuck with as far as more along those lines, I would say shooting. I still just, I love going out and, we'll do skeet shooting or we do target practice or we have this thing up at a shooting range called Ben Avery that's called cactus mat competitions. And they
Hmm.
have these whole courses that they line out and they've got these big stars that rotate and they've got targets and you have to run to the boxes and then shoot and then duck behind a guy. So it gets real intense and it's just fun. I've always been kind of an adrenaline junkie, and that's something that's within boundaries and not
Hmm.
kill me that I can still have fun doing and then come home to my kids that night.
Wow. Okay. See, I didn't expect you to go in that direction, but what I wanted to ask was about archery. My next
Oh,
question is yes. I did a little bit of archery myself. I was in the Boy
okay.
Scouts. Um,
Oh,
so what I was kind of wondering here is How many arrows can you shoot in under 3 minutes? And are you still efficient at shooting
Oh,
a bow? I know over
oh my
time,
gosh.
kind of gets
Yeah, I would say honestly, I'd say my daughter is ahead of me in the archery range now. She
You
does
said your
archery.
who? Your doctor?
My daughter.
Oh, your daughter. Okay, okay.
Mhm. Yeah, one of my girls does archery now too, and she kind of took over that rung. I'm still holding strong in the number one spot for our shooting, but she's got me beat in archery now.
Wow. Wow. Real quick question. So I just want to dispel something real quick. So, in the movies, they showed people could shoot arrows really, really fast.
Yeah,
So have you ever witnessed anybody shoot arrows at that rate ever in life?
like Hawkeye, just one after another.
Yes. Yeah, like we seen in horror movies
No,
and other
not that
movies like
fast.
this. Um,
Honestly, all of the ones and the competitions that I've seen, they're not trying to go fast. They're trying to get dead in that bullseye. So they're taking
mhm.
their time, releasing that breath, and then, you know. So I haven't seen them try to see how many they could do at a time. But did you speed shoot? Is that what they had you do when you were in Boy Scouts?
No. Mm-mm.
No.
I just did regular archery. Mm-mm. No, no, no. My person was not fully invested to the point where I could get into possibly speed shooting. As you can see, life led
Okay.
me here as a creative. So, um, moving forward, I wanted to ask you, why do you think why do you think your father, excuse me, found it important that you create tangible things?
He's very old school. So I
Hmm.
think that while he appreciates media and advancements in technology, he, being a builder, I think just can see and feel and understand when something physically has hard work put into it. And I think that's what he measures on what he can see and feel rather than something that can be gone easily. When he drives by a house that he made a long time ago, or hey, I designed that, or whatever, it really you see him light up more so than when I was baking, it was oh, that's cool or that was good, but not as much of a affirmation of any long-standing kind of appreciation. So I think that that's why he wanted me to make or encourage tangible things so that you can look back and see it and get a very different feel of this is something that I made that's going to be around forever, or
Mm.
forever. Obviously time, gets rid of everything eventually, but
Yes, it
but
does.
just in his lifetime, it's something that's not going anywhere at least.
Mm, creating timeless, tangible things. All right, that's what it's about. That's what your business is about, also. Moving forward, I wanted to switch lanes over to your mother and ask you, how did your mother teaching you acceptance, love, and expression impact your upbringing?
That had a huge impact because through my rebellious phase, especially, I met a lot of different people, from all walks of life, from people that, were penthouse owning, flew back and forth out of country, personal jet owning, type financial level. And then I met people who were starving artists and people who were, down and out because of drugs and other things like that, overcame that or were still working on it. And just it it made it so that I didn't judge any of them. You know, Everyone has
Mm,
all of the things that they're going to go through, and they're going to have their own life story. We're all the main character in our own story, as has been said before. And they were just trying to get there. So, in the craziness that I experienced, it made it so that I could try to put myself in their shoes and love
mm,
and accept what they were trying to do, more so than just jumping to conclusions or dusting someone off.
Mm.
So that, I thank her for that, absolutely.
Amazing. Amazing. Into something a little bit more spontaneous. The rebellious stage, can you tell us a little bit about that? How did that pan out for you?
Um, well, I mean, I'm still alive, so that, that's all I could have asked for at this point. But man, I think it would have narrowed down the question more if you had asked what did I not do during that phase. Because
Oh.
it was, it started in school. It started rather young. At 14, I was sneaking out more often than I was home. I was, anything that was, fast and strange and people and new and so on. I got my first motorcycle the second I turned 18, and I was just, anytime I could go over 100, that would be the time where I could just let everything else go behind me, and that was the peace that I got at that moment. And then I would come back home and it would be chaos again. And I flew off to New York one night because I decided that I wanted to go off and hang out with this guy I had just met the night before because he was having a big party. Like it was all over the place.
Wow. 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 What do you think was one of the most intense moments that you experienced during that time?
um Most intense moments,
Right.
my My ex went to jail for murder. Um, that was pretty intense.
Yes.
That was a uh, long story short. He came
Mm-hmm.
to my work that night that it all happened
Mm-hmm.
and went to hang out. We had broken up already at that point, but small town feel. Everyone still hung out. Everyone knew each other. And he wanted to hang out, and I said I couldn't. I was closing up. I was going to be getting out super late, but I would swing by his house when I was done. So come 3 a.m., I went over to his place. He wasn't there. He didn't answer his phone. Like I said, everyone was still close. Everyone knew each other. So I just told his dad I was upstairs and I crashed out, up in his room. And he came in the next day pretty out of it and had blood all over his shirt. And then he was arrested later that week for murder. So that was a lot.
Wow. That was intense. That was intense. How did you
On the spontaneous level, yeah.
yeah, how did you bounce back from that on the mental level? I know that's something to definitely digest there.
It was, it continued on definitely in line with that, going as fast as I could on the motorcycle and just kind of keeping busy all the time to not, think about things. And then eventually uh, you kind of just deal with it, I guess. I don't know. I reached that point where I wasn't bothered anymore, and I met, more good people than bad. And it just kind of, you went, well, that was another chapter in my story, and that's it.
Whew. When you-
So,
oh man, when your kids get older and see this interview, this is going to be
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, they're not going to get away with much, that's for sure.
You
I'll be
said
like,
what
hey,
happened?
you
I'm
know what you're
scared.
doing.
Okay, so I wanted to move forward into uh, the stage of life where you started to become indulged in philanthropy, excuse me.
Mhm.
What inspired you to get into philanthropy at first?
Well, I've always loved kids, just always, always. I knew I wanted, at that point, I wanted a kid someday, but I've always loved kids. And just through seeing some children that weren't taken care of well, with some of the people that I had met through my rebellious phase, I decided to start helping with JDRF first, which is
Mhm.
the Junior Diabetes Research Foundation. And that one just happened to come along because where I was working, actually, they were looking for charities to start working with. And that was the first youth one that popped up. So some of the girls and I that were working there decided that we wanted to help out, and we started raising money for it. And then we met a lady from UMOM that stopped by and started seeing how much money we were raising for JDRF and asked if we knew anything about them. And then that's when she educated me about their shelters and what they did for the mothers and children that were taken from domestic violence situations. And of course, we're like, yeah, I mean, we would love to help raise money for your cause. Just kind of the big thing was looking into all of the ones that were being presented to make sure that they were legit and that the money was going to them and not,
Ooh.
all of the overhead or staff. So that one just kind of, fell into my lap. And then the final step with the philanthropy was actually, so as I said before, fully embraced the weirdo nerd, side of me.
That's nice.
And my kids and I, and my husband, we all dress up for Comic-Con. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes, I
Yep.
have.
So we dressed up for that. And I was at Comic-Con all dressed up, and I actually got approached by my now friend Gus, who asked if I would be interested in dressing up and working with their group Heroes United. He just said my outfit looked great. He explained to me that they go and they visit with children that have been taken out of sexual and physical abusive situations, and any and all money that is donated is 100% given to all of the different advocacy centers, which are essentially the homes that they are taken to immediately
Mm,
after they leave the situation. So,
mm,
uh, you know, my answer was, of course, yes. And we just started, my repertoire of just my goofy little, cosplay outfits increased, just kind of based on who was, hot at that moment and kids would be excited to see, and who would really kind of get more donations to buy these kids, clothing and toothbrushes, and
mm,
everybody gets toys and just something when they get there, because they just leave immediately. They don't get to pack. They don't get to prepare. It's a, we're taking you now to this place where you will be safe, but you can't bring your things. And half the time they have to take their clothes because there's evidence on them. So it was an undertaking that was near and dear to my heart to be able to go, yes, like I want these kids to at least have a care package or something when they're at this
mm,
place. So, growing pains, Heroes United was kind of a new thing. Gus is an amazing guy. Um, they got more and more and more members. There were more superheroes and princesses and all these people who wanted to help, like you you said, hey, this person has a birthday. They got out of this advocacy center. Can we have Spider-Man, Black Widow and Wonder Woman? And they'd be there
mm,
that day. Great. And then there was a little bit of turmoil within some of the original organizers. So they split and
mm,
kind of had their own group going. And then Put on the Cape was actually started by the detective who was in the child crimes unit that
mhm.
ran all of my background for Heroes United. And then he approached me about coming with him and kind of just seeing how far they could really take it. And I was like, yeah, let's go. So
Wow.
it kind of, took on a life of its own, and it, Detective Reedy is still going strong. So
Nice. Congratulations for one, for being a founder and also being a philanthropist. That is amazing, hands down. Um,
well, thank
Also, I
you.
want to ask you, what is a responsibility or what can you name a few responsibilities that a philanthropist has? What does that look like for someone that would probably want to undergo that process?
A few responsibilities. obviously transparency is a big one.
Mm.
That was,
Mhm.
I would say, number one when there was turmoil with the initial Heroes United, was they really needed to show and have a way to prove that all of the money is going where you're intending it to go, and that you're
Mm.
being forthcoming about what you're asking for and why. You know, who is it benefiting? Is it benefiting you? Is it benefiting both you and your cause? Is it all benefiting your cause? You know, so transparency, I would say, is absolutely number one. Um,
Mm. Mhm.
and then second, you have to have a balance. You know, it's so easy, especially when it's philanthropy, because it's going to be a cause that you're interested or passionate about, that you have to balance your life and your cause. You know,
Mm.
there were times where I would come home and I would be crying thinking about, these kids and their situation and what else can I do, or what else can someone else do, or and it would affect my own kids. They're seeing their mother unhappy for these other children, and
Mm.
I'm not taking the time out of my day to just ensure that they're happy as well. Or to go, like, hey, let's go play at the park. And, no, I was sad that day, so just the balance of your cause, especially with philanthropy.
That's interesting. How did you end up balancing between, working with your kids, obviously raising them and interacting with them versus working with kids who have been abused and have experienced trauma? How were you able to separate the two, basically not taking your work home with you?
Um, there came a point where it really just it wasn't an option. It was
Mm.
my youngest is delayed. He's not
Mhm.
officially diagnosed, but they know that he's on the spectrum, so he's autistic to some level. So he required my attention more so than being able to just go, hey, I'm trying to do this. Can you go, go play with your friends for a little bit, or can you go play with your sister? That wasn't an option. It was he needs me. I need to do this for him and take care of him and ensure that he's okay to be able to continue any of this.
Mm. Prioritizing, knowing which comes first, huh?
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. You definitely did answer a couple of questions in one sitting, which was cool. Um, but I wanted to ask you, working for a women's shelter, what was that experience like, especially working with women who have probably experienced abuse and children who have experienced domestic abuse? What was that like for you?
Honestly, you would be very surprised at how warm and welcoming they are. I was, and they forewarned us that, there may be standoffish, they may lash out, there may be, issues with people, who rightfully are traumatized. But honestly, everybody just wanted to talk. They wanted someone that would listen. And that was a huge thing that I was surprised at. They wanted to tell me what happened, and then they just wanted to open up about their feelings, because I don't know if they had anyone that had previously done that. So
Right.
they were extremely appreciative. You know, Hearing their stories were absolutely heartbreaking, but they were so appreciative to just have someone care.
How do you listen to what someone goes through, but don't allow it, or especially dealing with so many people who have gone through traumatic experiences without allowing it to affect you in a way that makes you numb towards these experiences?
It's hard because being human, you're either going to be affected, or you develop some form of sociopathic tendency where you become numb, and I think people end up swaying one way or the other. you get the bleeding heart, or you
Mm.
get the doctor that can put on the blank face and just tell you, you know, sorry, they've passed. Um, so and not to say unfortunately, but I definitely swayed more towards the bleeding heart side, where
Mm.
where it does still affect me, and I'll, give more leeway to certain people that have been through certain experiences, or I'll, you know, feel as though I have empathy for somebody that was put in a certain situation when maybe I shouldn't, because not everyone has righteous intentions, but I
Mm.
think that everybody should be given a chance, you know?
Mm. Well, everyone should be given a chance. Mm. But how do you implement, and this is going to be interesting, I just want to close off this segment. How do you implement boundaries from knowing when that person needs to be released from your life or when you continue helping that person? How do you do that?
I am probably the worst person to ask that question because I am, and my husband will tell you, I give way too many second chances.
Mm.
You know, you have to touch on something for me that isn't me for me to be able to cut you out of my life. If you do something to me, then it's all right, like that's on you. Like, I guess, you're gonna need to figure that out. But if you do something to my children or my friends or my husband, then I don't have a problem. It's very much protecting them more so than myself. Makes it very easy.
Mm. Mm. I can understand that. I've battled with that sometimes. Implementing boundaries for myself uh, sometimes, at times, could fall short, even though I've re implemented some boundaries in my life. And my boundaries for friends or the will to protect other people could happen to overweigh that from time to time.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what was the leading cause
Oh,
of, and
I
I know
think
this is going to be a little bit of
I'm
a rough.
losing you a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
There we
I'm
go.
losing
Can you
you a
hear me?
little bit too. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, and this might be a difficult question to answer, just for warning, but uh,
Okay.
what was the leading cause of children being abused in households when you were working with them? Like, was it
The leading
stress?
cause.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Was it stress? Was it the parents just not attending to their kids correctly? Uh, Negligence? What can, you know, be one of the
Money.
leading causes? Money.
Hmm. And I would say probably 80% of the stories that I was told was the parents were arguing about money. And that's obviously there's going to be extenuating circumstances for, what and why, and the fact that their reactions were inappropriate at times. But in 80% of the stories, it was they were arguing about money, either not making enough, or that the wife needed to work more, or that she wasn't bringing in enough from a side hustle, or that the husband wasn't making enough and the wife was spending money, and that was what seemed to always start the big blow up, or what the initial stress was.
Mm, it's crazy. I would have
I
never
thought
thought
that
of
was,
that. Wow.
yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Hmm. I have another tough question for you tonight. Oof.
Okay.
Um, what is one of the most intense situations you witnessed unfold while you were working with the victims of sexual assault or child abuse? What was one of the intense?
And the ones that you can explain to us, because I know that some of them are private. There's obviously a privacy breach, there.
Well, so I was lucky in I, I wasn't um I wasn't there for any of the moments where they were taken. You know,
Okay.
that was absolutely the officers and the people that would get them out of the situations. Bless you. Um, so I wasn't there for those intense parts. I would be there after, in costume, just making them happy and
Mm,
and I was there at that point. So I didn't see any physically, intense situations when dealing with those
mm,
children. They would vent to me after, or I would be told why they acted certain ways, but I wasn't there for when they were removed.
mm. Okay. So this question is better suited. What is one of the most wondrous acts of kindness you witnessed while working with victims that were sexually assaulted or children who have experienced abuse?
Gosh, that one's hard too, just because there were so many good people, and there still are so many good people that are just part of the organization. I would have to say that our member Scott is his name. I'm sure he
Mhm.
won't be upset with me naming him. Um, is just above and beyond all of the time. He goes full character with all of the kids. He has gone to multiple birthday parties, with these groups that, you have to pay someone to come out and be a superhero at your kid's birthday and that kind of thing. Like he just goes, and just makes their day. And he's bought and donated so many, just personal memorabilia and items. And we did the Special Olympics 3 years ago, and there was a boy, he was Captain America, and there was a boy there that was just enamored with his shield, just 100% could not stop just touching it and looking at it, and he just loved Captain America. And by the end of it, even though Scott had spent hours 3D printing and painting and making this thing, he just gave it to him. And I know how much work was put into that. And, that's just one of the things that he's done multiple times.
Wow.
But that just stands out.
Nice. Nice. I just wanted to follow up with a happy moment too, because I know that the questions could sometimes be a bit intense. It's hard to relive certain moments that are pretty heavy. Um, how did Whittle Works come to be? Can you tell us the story of that?
So, as a brief synopsis, Whittle Works came in the middle of the pandemic. We just, as everybody was cooped up and trying to find things to do. And while going outside was wonderful, and unfortunately, I know in other countries they couldn't even do that. You know, doing
Mhm.
that with the kids absolutely helped, but you can only go on so many walks alone before, you're going, all right, I need some interaction or something else to do or someone to talk to or something to pass the time. And my husband and I both agreed that we wanted a hobby that we could do together because we both have our separate things that we enjoy doing.
Mhm.
And I found these little whittling kits, that I ordered, and they're just actually I have it in my shop still. They're just little teeny blades, and we just started kind of messing around with them. And anytime we'd go on a walk, then we would find like a piece of wood or a tree trunk or a stem, and it would be like, oh, I'm going to carve a little guy's face in here, and it just became this whole fun thing that we both got really excited about. And then I just kind of started taking it to the next level and never realized any sort of passion for woodworking. Never thought in a million years, that I would be doing this, making children's toys.
Mm.
And then there was one specific incident where I was at one of those little, when things started opening back up again in Arizona, we were at one of those little indoor play places that you just kind of take kids to just mingle amongst themselves, you know. And there was a
Mhm.
baby there that was playing with just the standard little wooden blocks that you see that they put the shapes through, and she put one in her mouth. It was about, you know, just this big, and she started choking. And the mom freaked out, you know, baby was fine. They got her all taken care of, but I'm like, man, I'm like, that was A, way too easy for that to happen. And B, you know, I feel like I could make something that would just be bigger and that would be, you know, she wouldn't be able to choke on. And I went that day over to Home Depot, grabbed
Mhm.
some just dowels and little blocks and started cutting them up and shaving them down and then posted some pictures, and all of a sudden I got this huge influx of moms going, oh, like, I want that. You know, like I've never bought little blocks for my daughter because I didn't want her to choke on them, you know, or son, and so on and so forth. And it just became a thing. And then I just kind of continued on from there going, well, kids can be building and creating and interacting more so again. And once again, like my father, you know, tangible things
Mm.
that I can help them make. And then it went on to, you know, little people and boats and a lot of just custom orders that, you know, kept rolling in, and then me sketching out ideas in the middle of the night and just trying to get them in physical form. So then it just kind of took
Mm.
on its own life from there.
Wow. Aren't the best ideas the ones you usually don't see coming? Huh? Like,
I would agree
yeah.
100%, 100.
Like I didn't see this coming, and you didn't see Whittle Works coming. That's cool. It's a nice name. How did you come up with the name for Whittle Works? Like, what
Oh man.
inspired
I
that? Was
was
it?
I messed around with the name forever. Just trying to, you know, I wanted something that would be reflective of fun and
Hmm.
kids, since that seemed to be what I was doing. And I
Hmm.
tried like whimsical wonders and, you know, white willow and just like all these things. And some of the ones that I really liked were already taken. And
Hmm.
then the other ones, I was like, a kid's not going to be able to say whimsical or not know what it means, you know? A 2-year-old's not going to request his whimsical wonder wooden car racer, you know? I'm like, I need
Right.
something cute. And then my 5-year-old comes up and he goes, who's this Whittle guy? You know, and I'm like, Whittle. I'm like, yeah, dude, Whittle works. Like little works, but whittling wood. Boom, done.
Wow. Amazing. That is so cool. Wow.
Perfect. Yeah.
A family
Yeah.
of entrepreneurs.
They're my in-home R&D team.
Oh, so if you don't mind, I was wondering, can you break down what a whittling kit is? And if you want to, you could actually show us if
Break
you
down what a what is. They cut out that
oh
one part.
excuse me, a whittling kit is. And if
Oh
you
yeah,
want, you can also show it to us if you'd like. I
I
mean,
can show
that's what
you real quick.
can. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Wow,
So it's literally just,
I see.
and they're little teeny, they're just
Blade.
little different shaped blades.
Okay. And they used to
And you
carve
just,
wood.
yeah, yep,
Nice.
you just kind of chip away at, you know, like I was doing this the other day.
Hmm.
And they're really, really sharp.
Wow, look at
And
that.
I would just find a soft wood and just start messing around, you know? You're never gonna know if until you try.
Uh, would you like to also show us like one of your toys? Or I saw you put together a puzzle on your Instagram page.
Yeah,
I was
that's,
just so curious if you could show us that. Yeah, please.
I mean, I've still got the little, that was a little, once again, R&D piece that I was just trying to kind of mess around with because my my kids, as everyone's kids, love toys, and especially little, pretend forts and houses and stuff that they can put together and play G.I. Joes or Barbies or whatever they feel like doing. And I
Yes,
had
indeed.
so many of these little houses and forts and stuff inside all over that I was like, I need to figure out how to store these things. So then I've been doing this a lot lately, where instead of it being, a done little play thing, it can just go flat.
Really?
And
Yeah, let us see that.
now you just put it in a
Wow.
little box and put it away somewhere, and it's
Wow.
just, it takes 10 seconds to just put together and be done.
Oh,
I just,
okay. Would you like to put it together for us? I would
yeah,
love to have
I
like a display piece. Yeah, this is
don't,
great.
I'm like, I don't have my table in front. I'll try to just kind of hold it up for you,
Yeah,
but it's
no
just
problem.
like here, and it just, you know,
Wow. Wow.
mm,
Okay.
slides on in,
Okay.
and that's it. Yeah.
That's another feat.
So then it just
Nice.
kind of, and then it's, once it's together, it's not going to collapse or
Wow.
break or anything.
Yeah, let's see the 3D model of it. Like spin it around for us a bit. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Wow. Nice.
So this was
Great.
a little teeny one, but yeah, I wanted to just do a bunch of little guys. I did a big one that my boys play with all the time. That's a tree house, so it's more of like a, masculine house instead of like his old Barbie doll house from his sister's. That's you can only you can only paint that camo so many times before it's like, all right, it's still Barbie Dream House. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yes, indeed. Oh, look at the little sword.
so this one's a lot bigger, but same thing. Goes totally flat, and it's a big treehouse one. So,
Wow.
so yeah, that's just another little concept that I'm brainstorming.
Wow. Amazing. If you have anything else that you would like to show us, please let us know. The dolls, any other items that the egg host, the egg holder, that was cool too. I did see that
Oh
one
yeah,
too. That was
yeah.
really
I
cool.
gave, I
Oh, that
gave
was
my first
nice.
one to my mom.
Yeah.
She got chickens and she's super proud of them. So I'm like, here's an egg holder.
She has chickens.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. My mom is 100% animal person. She was a vet tech for years. She started doing her own pet sitting business just to be able to work from wherever she wanted to. And she's had horses, monkeys, donkeys, a llama, like she's had crazy stuff.
A
Like
llama.
she, yeah, oh yeah.
One time I was trying to communicate with a llama and it spit at me. And I thought that was a really odd phenomenon. I was talking to the llama and it just randomly like tried to spit on me. And I was like, is this a defense mechanism for the llama? I
It
was
is.
pretty
Don't
confused.
take offense to
Oh,
it.
because
Anytime
what?
you kilometer,
I
you're
was
like, am
confused.
I?
Yeah, did we just really like God?
Yeah, yeah. They do. They're man. They're not. I was not a fan of the llama.
Oh,
They're
you know,
super.
I visited one and yeah, it was an interesting experience, to say the least. That's what I'm going to go ahead and leave it as. What were some of the difficulties you faced when it came to juggling family time and project due dates when you first launched Whittle Works?
Um, that was the difficulty in itself. So, like I wrote, in my bio, the second month that Whittle Works was open, to be able to start, sending and shipping things and be kind of ready to go, completely paid for our Christmas, so I was happy. I was like, I'm contributing, to this specific, like we're covered. It was mostly those little custom families, that are lathed and then painted and sealed, but it was just time. It was, full-time job during the pandemic of teaching all of the kids. They couldn't go to school, so they were online, and then you're teaching the lessons, and then you're getting them ready, and you're trying to get them outside, and it's just the normal day-to-day that you're trying to maintain in the first place. And then at night would be my time, and I would go off into the garage, and I would be doing orders and making, and honestly, the biggest struggle was probably just sleep, which it just kind of became, I can't not be a mom, and this order is promised. I can't just not send it. So I guess I'm getting 2 hours of sleep tonight. I'm going to get extra coffee in the morning, So it was physically exhausting, but it was completed. So that was, that was a big adjustment. And then just moving out the ship dates after that initial trial by fire, it was okay. I can make these. I just need to extend out, hey, this order is going to take a week or two because I've got 12 of them. So that was a big adjustment. But once I got those down, it made it so much more reasonable and doable.
Do you take care of your own shipping?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I just, you just print out the label and through Etsy or over at USPS, and you just send them on their way, You just calculate for how much it'll be and then let them know.
That is a very smart approach. I had the same approach. It's just volume. Yes, volume is the more volume that we become faced with, that burden is one definitely that you'll have to take on in business if you don't have other people who can do the footwork for you. So I think that's very interesting. I just wanted to ask you that because from a business owner to another business owner, that overhead is beautiful when you don't deal with drop shipping. Is what I feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It makes it exactly what you're getting and what you can price and adjust for. Yeah, with no middleman. But it is.
I'm curious to know, what are you going to do when you have to expand? Are you
keep
going
up.
to go into the drop?
We've been talking about that. My husband and I specifically about kind of what to do about the next step, because it has gotten to a point where it could easily get out of hand. And it's like, do you go the manufacturer route and just have original and unique ideas, but not have hand touched everything and not have the fully customizable option? Or do you do the day by day and make it more of a exclusive item, and you make these pieces and they're more expensive because you do fewer pieces? At what point does it become a collector's item versus mass production? So that's a hard turn. That's where I'm stuck.
I like that. That was really well put. Wow. That gave me something to reflect on myself.
What do you make?
Huh?
What do you make?
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, okay. I've seen those. I was like, I've seen your items. Yeah. So you're sending those out yourself too?
Yes, I am. Yeah. I'm the sole operator of that. Yes.
Love it. Okay.
I have single-handedly, as of right now, moved almost 400 units out of a backpack and through way of mail. So
that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. In the future, if you would like to purchase a shirt, please let us know. Right now, we're gearing up to restock.
Count me in. Does it come in different colors?
Yeah, it does. It comes in different colors. Oh, it's on our it's on the page. Yeah. There
Yeah.
is I'll send you the post after the interview. Um,
Yep.
I
You got
wanted
it.
to go ahead and say why is discipline important when it comes to developing a craft? Because I see that you're a craftswoman. I know that there's craftsmanship. And you're a craftswoman is what I consider you, and so continue.
Uh, Without discipline, you won't do it. You're going to inevitably come across times where it's hard and where things don't turn out. And what you have in your head is going to be so much grander and better and perfected because you're picturing, as an optimist, usually a craftsman has an idea of what they want something to be. And
Mm,
it's not going to turn out like that for a very long time, if ever. So while you can, be upset about it and why you can, give up or, just try something new, if you are disciplined, you're going to keep going and you're going to try it again until it gets better. And
mm,
eventually those, mistakes become imperfections that become character. So you
mm,
have to have discipline if you're going to keep going because you're inevitably just going to come across difficulties. So if you just discipline yourself and push through, then you'll make it.
mm. As they should. Consistency.
Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
said starting plus consistency equals evolution or success. I remember somebody telling me that in life. It's very interesting. Consistency is tough. How do you stay consistent? Keeping up with so many orders that are actually very different from each other. They vary, you know. So how do you keep up with that? You know,
Scheduling,
scheduling.
technology, if I can only, if I kept doing what I did in the very beginning, where I had this little notebook and I went, okay, so, Rob Smith, wants this order by Tuesday, and, Joe Schmo wants this, on Wednesday. And then I lose that piece of paper or so on. And then I'm calling my friends going, all right, I know you wanted this. There is no way it would have happened. But now it's so easy using a lot of different platforms, actually, just depending on where they're ordering from. Etsy will track and send you out, when your orders are due, how much time you initially input into each thing, and then the, the Facebook, you'll be able to see and track, and I just plug it all into an Excel sheet so I know what each thing is and how much it's going to cost, and then just scheduling, with my phone on the calendar. Just, this is due here. Send me another notification 5 days in advance so I have time to
Ooh,
get on this. So just scheduling is huge.
wow. Wow, you have a lot you're keeping up with there. You do. You have a lot that you're
Yeah.
keeping up with. Here's a special
My,
question for you, and it relates back to your father teaching you about being creative and making tangible products. What does creating timeless products mean to you? What goes into that?
what goes into it?
Hmm.
Um, if it's going to be a timeless product, then absolutely quality, craftsmanship, you know. You need something
Mm,
first that's going to withstand the test of time if it's going to be timeless. If I made a cheap piece that's going to break when the kid plays with it for the first time, then he's not going to want to play with it again. It's not going to get passed on to his child. They're not going to
mm,
order the next thing that the child's interested in from my shop because it's not going to be worth it. You can go down to Walmart and you can go and get 50 toys, that are plastic and light up and make noise and sound and have it be $100. You can go to my shop and you can get two, three, maybe four toys, and have it be $100.
Mm.
It's gonna last, and it's gonna be unique.
Mm.
So timeless has to have heart and quality in it, or it's not
Mm.
gonna make it.
Mm. Would you say intention has a lot to do with that too?
As far as it being timeless,
Yes, the intention that you put into your craft when
I
it
would
comes to
think
me.
so. Yeah,
Okay.
because an intent to make something be more of an heirloom quality rather is, rather than just something that you want that kid to play with, then there's certainly intent behind it.
Mm. Oh, by the way, someone said they just checked out your work during this interview and they loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah, they loved it. Yeah, your work is amazing, Brittany. It is.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've got a lot of pages sketched out that I need to just make happen.
Nice, nice. One more question before we leave this arena is what is open imaginative, excuse me, play? Is that, am I saying that correct? What is that? If you could break that down for our audience.
So open play is, say, for example, your Barbie dolls or the houses or swords and shields and open imaginative or open-ended play is where a child can take an item
Hmm.
and play with it however they like. You know, you can have even down to a shape. This can be a road for my car now. I'm going to drive on it. Or it can be a sword. Or it can be, a lawn dart. Or it can, they can do whatever they like. There's no specified rhyme or reason or something that they have to do to be able to play with it, like a game or a puzzle or something like that, where it has a purpose and a way that you play with it. That is not what open-ended play is. So all of the
Mm.
little more imaginative, and that's going to be that side is it's the imagination. It's where their
Mhm.
imagination can take over and can, do what they like with that toy at any given moment. There's no set way to play with it. There could be,
Mm.
some guidelines or some assistance. Like obviously the little painted families that I do, you're like, oh, like they're little people, like so you're probably gonna play house or something like that. But you don't have to. If you want them to be bowling pins, they're bowling pins. It's
That
open
is good.
imagination.
Wow. That is so cool. I didn't think of it like that. That is so cool. I can picture it like that too. Wow. That was a cool one. I like that. I like that. Um, and now I wanted to move into a different sector. Um, what do you cherish the most about being a mother?
I don't. How much time have you got? Because
Oh,
there's
I got
just
no worries.
there are so many moments where there's the obvious choices. There's the hugs and there's the love and there's the never feeling alone. There's, feeling like you've left a mark on the world or a person. But those are the easy answers, for sure. There's a lot that I cherish in the challenges they present. In
Mm,
when I have been my most frustrated or, upset or scared for them is when you really find patience and you really test yourself to see, you know, can you do it? There's no option to just quit. They're not going to disappear. This isn't this isn't end game. You can't go, I don't want to be a mom today, and they just disappear off into the atmosphere. It's a you need to figure it out, and
Hmm.
they let me really test myself and see who I am instead of just who I want to be. Obviously, do I want to be the bubbly, picture perfect mom? Sure. Heck yeah. Like happy all the time. That'd be great. Am I gonna be? No. So it's,
Mm.
they're the ones that get the most rise and emotion and realness from me because they are me. So they challenge me and show me what real love means.
Mm. What is your definition of love?
A definition of love.
Mm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
There's so many different kinds of love,
This is true. This is true.
you know? Yeah.
There's love for your children, love for your partner, right?
Hmm.
Love for
Yeah.
yourself. Those are all
Yeah.
drastically different,
Love for your
but
friends, love for, yeah, just ways you can love things for different meanings. Um, Love
mm,
to me, I don't know how to quantify that in words.
ooh,
Um, Never ending,
mm,
love won't go away. I think it's never ending. If you truly, truly love something or someone, it will always be there. Um,
mm.
and then, I mean, that's the only way I can think to put it in a word form. You know, love is
Mm.
a big word for me. I don't like just throwing it out there like a lot of people, seem to do. The,
Mm.
like, love you, da da da. Like I don't like to do that. When I say I love you, I want it to hold weight.
Mm.
I don't want it to be casual. But I also want to be loving towards people. I want them to feel warmth. I just want you to know that if I tell you I love you, it's true. And I'm not just being nice.
Mm. That was very heartfelt. I really do. Yeah, yeah. I had to sit back and take a moment to digest that. Thank you for being very transparent, both me and the audience. Appreciate that. I think
Good.
that people sometimes use the word very loosely, right? Like they say, "I
Yeah.
love you." It doesn't hold as much weight as we would hope it does. And so when it comes from you know, you know that it holds weight, and that's what matters.
I
At
hope
the end.
so. Yeah.
What advice can you give someone who is new to motherhood?
Remove mothering.
Hmm.
It's the same advice that you're going to hear all the time, but be patient is number one. You know, everything is going to pass. You know, you're going to get out of the diaper phase. They're going to start sleeping through the night. They're going to be upset or heartbroken at their first, boyfriend or girlfriend or anyone that they are madly in love with when they're in middle school. But the patience will supersede anything.
Mm,
It will make you listen to them. It will make them see that it's okay to just take a step back and wait and really see how it feels, see what's going on. Observation, it's just something that, is taught to your kids rather than a skill that they just have ingrained in them. So
mm,
just absolutely patience. I think it helps, I think it helps you be a better mother. If you're patient and you can just take a breath in those seconds where you're going, like I need to do this and I need to do this and I can't handle it. And you just go, you know what? I've still got tomorrow. We're not going anywhere. It'll be okay.
Patience. We can all use some patience. All of us, bro.
One-
All of
100.
us. We can all use some patience.
Mine's when I'm behind the wheel. Get over.
Get out the way. So, how how has your husband impacted your life since the time y'all met till now? You know.
How is he not? He has, and this is going to sound so corny and so, stereotypical, like, okay, yeah, sure, Brittany. But he really he showed me what love is unconditionally. He, he has seen me, at my worst. He has, he's seen me elated and ready to go and work, work, work. And he's seen me stressed and down and out and just frustrated. And he actually, he met me when it was just my twins and I. So my oldest two are from a previous marriage, and it was just myself and my girls. And he, wholeheartedly accepted all of me, including them, as a package deal. And ever since meeting them, because there was obviously a trial period, I didn't want him to just meet them until I knew that it was actually going to be forever, because I didn't want my girls just meeting random people. That he just they were his after, and I think that in itself is commendable and something that not many people can do. You can absolutely love somebody else's children. To feel and refer to them as your own, I think, is next level. And I appreciated that and saw that from the beginning. And ever since then, no matter what I do, whether it's I'm going to start woodworking or I'm going to bake or I'm going to etc., he is 100% supportive. And I couldn't ask for anything more. That's more than I even think I deserve. But there he is.
Wow. Wow. What does unconditional love look like in a relationship?
Unwavering. When you're frustrated and you're both mad and you both have your reasons and your points in the argument and you can nitpick, but then he just comes over and hugs me. And even when I say, like, stop, I'm still talking, like, I don't, just, stop it. And he's like, nope, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to hug you until you get it out. And then we're going to be better after. It's just, I never have to question if he would be there or how he feels about me in how he shows it. It's not just saying, it's not just, all right, love you, or, it's him showing it. It's him waking up with the kids when I'm tired. It's him going, like, hey, you've got orders. Let me make dinner. Like, I'll figure it out, It's just, it's the effort that he puts in all the time, not just special occasions. And that is huge.
It's very well put. It's funny that you said that in Valentine's Day is around the corner.
That's true.
Well, um, this is going to be a good one. In your opinion, what makes a relationship stand the test of time?
Dedication.
Ooh.
You and really from the beginning, which is a lot to ask, How are you going to ask someone from the beginning, are you dedicated? And have them say yes. And essentially, that's what marriage is when you're asking
Mm.
someone to get married. The standard couple doesn't stay together for 20 years and then go, yeah, I want to marry you. It's usually 1, 2, 3 years after you've met the person.
Mhm.
So from the beginning, you're asking someone, are you dedicated enough to me to stay with me forever?
Mm.
And it's huge and it's imperative because both people need to be dedicated. If you're dedicated to each other, then you're going to figure out how to fight through the hard times. And you're going to figure out and you're going to be dedicated to making the next move and to the person and the goals and just, you know, always having the next step or plan takes
Mm.
dedication. So I think that's what makes it work, and then everything else falls in line. It's
Mm.
okay, what's our next step? What do we want to do? Do we want to save for a house? Do we want to have a baby? Do we want to open a business? You know, okay. Are you dedicated? Yeah, I'm dedicated. Let's start saving, or let's start trying, or let's start advertising. I'm
Mm.
dedicated.
I'm dedicated. Dedication. One person said communication, but dedication. Interesting. I like that one. I do. So as we start closing down the interview, and yes, this has been quite a delight. I knew that this is going to be a really good conversation. I did. I did.
My jitters are finally gone, and I'm like, all right, this is
Here we
this has
go.
been this
Let's
has
tackle
been great.
it. Thank you. I appreciate you. I do. And thank you for giving me the chance to interview you. I know it's spontaneous. I discovered you through way of Voyage Phoenix, I believe. I did read your article in the magazine, and that's how I discovered you. So kudos on
No,
getting that in that publication. You just never know
thank
who's
you.
watching and who is
No.
inspired by your story. So just to let you know, all right? Moving forward, though, what advice would you like to give someone who is being abused, whether it may be physically, sexually, or mentally? What is some advice you could give them?
To someone that is being abused, what advice? I mean, the easy advice that everybody says is always to get out. That's what they're always told. That's what everybody says. But it's
Hmm.
not it's not that easy, you know? No one's going to tell you it's easy to, how hard it is to walk away from that situation or from someone that you think you're in love with to just walk out the door because you think you love that person or you think that they love you or you think that they're doing things for a reason. The advice I would
Mm.
give is to find find another perspective. You can't just have your own, you know. You can't be the one telling yourself, no, it's okay, they still love me or they did it because they care and that's why they hit me or that's why they're,
Mm.
sexually abusing me or that's why, you have to find a different perspective because if you're unsure in the first place, then you should find out why, you know? And then when you have light shed on it, from an outside perspective that's not in that dark place or in that situation, then it's going to be easier for you to see. You know, it's so easy to get stuck in, you know, being someone that was in that position once. It's so easy to go,
Mm.
they love me. They're just lashing out. You know, they're upset. You know, they'll get over it. They'll be okay. But it's not okay for them to physically harm you or sexually or even, you know, degrade you by calling you names and inappropriate things. That's nobody deserves that.
Mm.
So if that is happening, then you need to reach out. That would be my biggest suggestion because it's going to help you. It's going to give you perspective and it's going to shed light on your situation. You, you know, get out is easy to say. It's not easy to do until
Mm.
that person is ready to do so.
Mm. There's somebody that you're giving great advice to right now. It's not myself, but there's somebody out there who needs to hear that.
I
And
hope.
I hope that gets to them also. Very well put. Being a mother, an entrepreneur, a wife, also. How do you manage your time and how do you perceive balance?
Um, with the scheduling, definitely with you know the time management is the automatic scheduling because
Mhm.
I'm horrible about reminding myself. If I didn't have the alarms going off on my phone, you know, my plants would all die. You know, like I wouldn't be able to keep up with anything if I didn't have some form of automated reminder. Um,
Mm.
and then priority, you know, just you have to really find what's most important to you because there's
Mm.
going to be times where, you know, depending on your children and your schedule and what you have going on, you know, your kid might have soccer practice and you have this meeting going on, or
Mm.
you have an advertisement, but you're going to miss ballet recital. But, you know, like you have to prioritize and make sure that your family and your personal life is just as important as your business. You know, give and take on both sides. If it's something that's fulfilling you and that is making you feel more whole as a person, absolutely don't disregard it. You need to
Mm.
be able to do it. But the people that are important to you, you know, your significant other, you know, dinner, a date, you know, something, make sure you're doing that too. Just make sure that the things that are important to you, you are balancing them together.
Mm.
Because no matter what side, you're going to be told the opposite. You know, as a working mother, people are like, you know, oh, well, then you're probably not giving your kids enough attention. Or as, you know, a stay-at-home mom before I was doing things, you know, it was a, you know, oh, well, you're being lazy. You're probably not doing anything else during the day since you're not at a normal 9 to 5 job. You know, you're going to get people from both sides. So you just have to prioritize what's important to you and make it happen.
Mm. Mm. Advice that people need to hear. Indeed. Indeed. I love that. I love that.
Easier said than done.
It is. And another thing I want to piggyback off of, because I was about to shy away from this point, is that sometimes you listen to so many other people's opinions
Mhm.
that it could uh, make you deaf to your own inside voice, right? And so
I
it's like your life becomes a blur, and it's almost like you're going based on what other people are saying you should do rather than what you want. That's why I like the way you said that. On both sides, you're going to get opposition. It's about what you want at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Very important.
absolutely.
And last but not least, um, what does being human mean to you?
Being human to me is being imperfect,
Mm.
being just being yourself. We're all so different. None of us are perfect. None of us are where we want to be. Hopefully, we're all working towards it, but
Mm.
the flaws are what make everyone unique and beautiful. And imperfection is just character. We're learning, you know?
We are. Yes. Mm-mm-mm. Thank you, Brittany. I appreciate you for coming on tonight. It has been an
Thank
enlightening
you for having
interview.
me.
You're very welcome. You're more than welcome. I kind of knew that you had a lot of personality with you by the way that you typed. Um, so I was looking forward to the interview and actually sitting back and speaking with you, and very enlightening, very enlightening. Thank you for sharing your story with us, with our audience, and for those who will be viewing this in the future, who definitely need to hear these points that are in this interview. Without further ado, have a great night. I'll be connecting with you. For those who are watching the interview now, this interview will be out within the next 24 hours. Um, and yes, signing off as usual, everyone. Please remember, we are all human. Have a great night, and I will speak with you soon, everyone. See you. Bye bye. Peace, Brittany.